workwear. Visit us and save during our Black Friday sale, extended through the weekend, so you can shop safely at Boot Barn.
Right now, Allstate has almost as many ways to save as there are types of music. Save for being a new customer. Save more for adding DriveWise. And save even more for driving safely. Visit Allstate.com or contact your local agent to get a quote. Find out how much you can save today. Allstate. Now that should be music to your ears.
Not available in every state. New customer savings based on early signing discount. DriveWise is an optional feature. Savings vary based on how you buy. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
At the Home Depot, get Black Friday pricing now through December on great gift ideas for any doer on your list, like a Ryobi Impact Drill Driver Kit for just $99. Was $129. Save on top tools, appliances, the latest in smart home tech, even holiday decor to light up the living room or bring joy to the neighborhood. Black Friday savings, in-store, online, store-wide. Gift giving improved. From the Home Depot, how doers get more done. U.S. only while supplies last. See store for details.
While I was lying in an army hospital in Germany, my parents got a letter that said I had 48 hours to live. They even sent a flag to put on my coffin.
As America's veterans face challenges, DAV is there.
I left the military with a traumatic brain injury, and when I got home, I fought depression, anxiety, and alcohol, and had nothing to look forward to.
DAV provides a lifetime of support to veterans of every generation, helping more than 1 million veterans each year.
With DAV's help, my world changed 100%. I was able to build a new life for myself.
With the right support, more veterans can reach victories, great and small.
I'm Adam Greathouse, Army veteran.
But there are more victories to be won.
My victory is just feeling alive and experiencing life.
Adam Greathouse, thank you for your service. May your victories inspire many more. Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Attention all authors. Page Publishing is looking for authors. Have you written a book and want to get it published? Page Publishing will get your book into bookstores and for sale online at Amazon, Apple iTunes, and other outlets. They handle all aspects of the publishing process for you. Printing, cover art, publicity, copyright, and editing. Call 800-501-3689 now for your free author submission kit. That's 800-501-3689 for your free author submission kit. Again, 800-501-3689.
The IRS, the world's most aggressive collection agency. They can seize your property, bank account, and garnish your wages. They cause sleepless nights for millions of Americans. Don't be one of them. If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, get protected today. Call 800-312-9970. Coast One Tax Group, protecting your bank, home, and your sleep since 2008. With hundreds of 5-star reviews and an A+ on the Better Business Bureau. Call Coast One Tax Group, 800-312-9970. Stanley from New York owed $93,000. The IRS placed a levy on his bank account. Coast One released the levy and settled with the IRS for $2,000. Mark in Michigan owed $225,000. After Coast One stepped in, Mark walked away paying less than $1,500. Call Coast One now. A 10-minute call can save you up to 93% on your back taxes. Get your fresh start today. That's 800-312-9970.
Some gifts don't come wrapped in packages with bows and ribbons. They aren't hidden away, then torn into with reckless abandon. Some gifts are needs, like food or shelter, and those can be the most precious of all. In a year with fewer red kettles, help rescue Christmas for those facing poverty with a $25 monthly donation. Enlist in Love's Army at GiveWestwood.org.
Real Country Radio is now on FM in the Beacon, Newburgh area. Listen at 96.5 FM.
All my exes live in Texas. Texas is a place I'd dearly love to be, but all my exes live in Texas, and that's why I hang Texarkana wanted me to push her broom. Sweet Eileen's in Abilene, she forgot on the moon. And Allison's in Galveston somehow lost her sanity. And Dimples, who now lives in Temple's, got the law looking for me. All my exes live in Texas, and Texas is a place I really love to be. But all my exes live in Texas, and that's why I hang my hat in Tennessee. I remember that old Frio River where I learned to swim. But it brings to mind another time where I wore my welcome thin. By transcendental meditation, I go there each night. But I always come back to myself long before daylight. All my exes live in Texas, Texas is a place I really love to be. But all my exes live in Texas, therefore I reside in Tennessee. Some folks think I'm hiding, it's been rumored that I died, but I'm alive and well in Tennessee.
Packing your stocking with Christmas country.
Merry Christmas!
Here's another real country holiday favorite.
Now in Poughkeepsie at 96.5 FM.
Santa looked a lot like Daddy. Our Daddy looked a lot like him. It's not the way I had him pictured. Santa was so much too thin. He didn't come down the chimney, so Mama must have let him in. Santa looked a lot like Daddy. Our Daddy looked a lot like him. Well, they thought I was fast asleep and they thought I was tucked in bed. They never thought that I'd come a peeping or that I'd hear what was said. Santa put his arm around Mama, and Mama put her arm around him. So if Santa Claus ain't Daddy, then I'm gonna tell on them. Well, Santa looked a lot like Daddy. Our Daddy looked a lot like him. It's not the way I had him pictured. Santa was a much too thin. He didn't come down the chimney, so Mama must have let him in. Santa looked a lot like Daddy, and Daddy looked a lot like him. I never saw a dancer, a prancer. I never heard the sleigh bells ring. I never saw the red-nosed reindeer like they show on the TV screen. But it sure brought a lot of presents, so Santa Claus he must have been. Really sure looked a lot like Daddy, and Daddy looked a lot like him. Well, Santa looked a lot like Daddy, or Daddy looked a lot like him. It's not the way I had him pictured. Santa was a much too thin. He didn't come down the chimney, so Mama must have let him in. Santa looked a lot like Daddy, and Daddy looked a lot like him.
92.5, 96.5.
Real country.
singing about us, and you know I ain't good at this stuff, but these feelings piling up won't give me no rest. This might come out a little crazy, a little sideways, yeah maybe. I don't know how long it'll take me, but I'll do my best. You'll be my soft and sweet, I'll be your strong and steady. You'll be my glass of wine, I'll be your shot of whiskey. You'll be my sunny day, I'll be your shade tree. You'll be my honeysuckle, I'll be your honeybee. Yeah, that came out a little country, but every word was right on the money. And I got you smiling, honey, right back at me. Now hold on, 'cause I ain't done. There's more where that came from. Well, you know I'm just having fun, but seriously. You'll be my Louisiana, I'll be your Mississippi. You'll be my little Loretta, I'll be your Conway Twitty. You'll be my sugar baby, I'll be your sweet iced tea. You'll be my honeysuckle, I'll be your just said it all. I'm glad we had this talk. Nothing left to do but fall in each other's arms. I could have said I love you, could have wrote you a line or two. Baby, all I know to do is speak right from the heart. You'll be my soft and sweet, I'll be your strong and steady. You'll be my glass of wine, I'll be your shot of whiskey. You'll be my sunny day, I'll be your shade tree. You'll be my honeysuckle, I'll be your honeybee. You'll be my Louisiana, I'll be your Mississippi.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM. And also online at mykcr.org.
We are Lions. We bring hope where it's needed, support causes that matter, change lives, change communities, change the world. Visit lionsclubs.org to learn more.
Introducing the YMCA. Sure, you know the Y for a swim or a game of hoops, but we're more than that. We're a cause. When you take a jump shot at the Y, someone else is getting job training. Practice yoga as a team practices her leadership skills. We give people of all ages, incomes, and backgrounds a chance to learn, grow, and thrive. So while you might think of the Y as the place for lifting weights, we're also about lifting entire communities. That's the Y. We're so much more. Visit ymca.net/more.
Hi, this is Winnie from the Rosendale Seniors, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
This portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Ulster Savings Bank. Visit their newest branch, conveniently located at the Ulster Commons Plaza in Lake Katrine. Experience the difference that local community banking offers with the convenience of another great location, easy access, plenty of parking, and a 24-hour ATM. Ulster Savings Bank, invested in community, invested in you. Member FDIC.
Okay, thank you.
Hey!
It is.
We're here.
Christine and Ken live on Black Friday, Christine.
Yeah, we survived COVID Thanksgiving.
The first one. The first COVID Thanksgiving.
Oh,
yes.
hopefully the first and last.
We'll be telling our grandchildren about that if we had grandchildren about that. Oh, yes, I remember the first COVID Thanksgiving.
Please, let's hope the one and only.
I hope so too, Christine.
It
Christine,
was a
how
little
have you
strange.
been here? How's that People's Place doing? I want to thank you for doing all that stuff over there. My gosh, our community. It's really great.
People's Place has been busy. We've been busy. Everybody, we are closed today. All the volunteers and most of the staff are taking a little day off.
Yes.
And we know this is a tough time of year for everyone over at People's Place because we do, Thanksgiving. On top of that, we have still been doing home deliveries for folks that are homebound, which we started in March when the COVID pandemic hit Ulster County. And we are also doing all the other stuff we normally do. The thrift store is open, the food pantry is open, but all with COVID guidelines. So it's a lot of extra work.
It is.
We have volunteers that are outside all day long, even when it's cold or rainy out, greeting people. In order for anyone that wants to shop to come into our store, you have to have your temperature taken. You have to answer the basic COVID questions that were put forth by the New York State Department of Health. And we also take everyone's phone number and name in case for some reason there's a case of COVID and we need to give it to trackers. For the food pantry, it's open, but people aren't allowed to come in the building for the food pantry. So we have volunteers outside. They take their information. They find out their preferences. They find out any dietary restrictions. And then the volunteers shop for them and meet them at another door and just bring their groceries right outside. So, we are really trying to make sure that everyone stays safe and that we are, that we continue to stay open. But throwing that on top of Thanksgiving, which was extremely busy, just like every year. We've done well over 1,300 households. I don't have the final total yet. I mean, Wednesday before we closed, we were still having people, coming in asking if we had any turkeys left. So, and we're hopping right on to Project Santa. Santa and Bag Holiday Hunger. No. While we were bagging stuff for Thanksgiving, I also had some wonderful women from the Bruderhof and then a couple of other of our volunteers who come in every week work on Bag Holiday Hunger so that we could start getting everything ready for that. And then, of course, Project Santa is a massive undertaking. And it's quick. We had to change it up again this year because of COVID. So normally we have one main distribution day and then, a few days after that, and then there's Christmas. But with the restrictions of how many people can be in an area, we have divided it up and have started it extremely early. We actually start, the first distribution day is December 10th. And when people sign up, we give them a date and a time, and we are spreading them out from December 10th until, as long as it has to go, December 17th, 18th, 19th, whatever it is, so that we only have between 20 and 40 people per hour, so that there's not a mass gathering. And then, again, though, the volunteers will be shopping for them. Okay, an idea of what the child likes, and then the volunteers will go and pick it out. Yeah.
Christine, I think People's Place is one of the safest places to be right now. Everybody's masked.
Yes.
We always take all of our temperatures, the volunteers and everybody, and we all have gloves on in our cafe, and we all wipe the place down at least once an hour.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
So and everybody maintains their social distancing. So if you're looking for some place to volunteer, you're starting to get a little antsy around the house. It's a great place to go. You are really nice to your volunteers.
Well, thank you.
And they're just so wonderful, gosh.
Yeah, well, we know we're really trying. Like you said, every hour, we are wiping all the surfaces down. We have this great disinfectant that we got from Puro Clean, a local business in the area who does cleaning, and they do all kinds of stuff. They're a great company. A little shout out to them if you have any kind of cleaning needs, or I guess they also do like after floods or fires or all kinds of stuff. They're really fabulous.
That deer came in our house. They were.
Oh yeah, and they went in.
Oops was there, yeah.
So we have this like mega disinfectant that we got that we spray on everything and clean. And then we actually just got air purifiers. They came on Wednesday. Yeah. So we'll have air purifiers in all the different sections to help. It ionizes the air and kills 99% of viruses
99%
in the air. That's what it says. It was developed by NASA, I guess. I found the company, and we're just trying to do absolutely everything we can so that we're there for the community because, at a time like this when really there's more people in need, and need not just for food or clothing, but also just for that little maybe 3-minute, if you will, social interaction, just saying hello to somebody. Sometimes that's all people need to feel connected. And for those that already feel isolated before COVID, since COVID, it just has to be that much worse. So, we're doing everything we can to try to make sure that we're there to service the people, who we're meant to be there for. We cover all of Ulster County and, welcome anybody. We even have people who come, driving through, however they found us, they come and they look in the thrift shop and buy, and they're like, oh, I'm from Connecticut or from, all over the place. That was a little bit more before COVID, of course, but, we pride ourselves on trying to be able to, help people in any way we can. We're doing the free coat distribution. That started a couple of weeks ago. Of course, that's outside also. We have a bounty table, a big, huge bounty table now, far bigger than it was before COVID. And we set that up outside every day. And it's usually 3 tables with a plethora of all kinds of produce. And sometimes we also have grains and just all kinds of food, whatever kind of food that we have extra. We're very fortunate to live in, for our business to be in Kingston because we are partner with the Hudson Valley Farm Hub right in Hurley. And every week they bring us fresh produce that they grew out on the farm. And, they don't use any chemicals or anything when they're growing their produce. So, we're really very blessed to be able to pass that along to anybody who stops by at people's place as well.
We had a cabbage in there, a couple this week. This cabbage, I don't want to say diameter, it was huge.
That cabbage actually came from the Bruderhof.
Wow.
Yeah, it was gigantic, wasn't it?
Yes. I made a hat out of it.
It was quite the orb. And they were all like that. They were all gigantic. I mean, yeah. So you could make a couple of really good cabbage soup, in the winter, all kinds of soups and baked wrapped where they make the little wrapped cabbage leaves, stuffed cabbage. That's what I was thinking of. And, of course
stuff an Oldsmobile in one of those.
Oh, my heavens. I know. Well, it was as big as a basketball. They were as big as a basketball.
It was bigger than a basketball. And it became a distraction because folks were coming into the cafe. We were still coming in to pick up the bags. And everybody just stopped and looked at this huge thing. It was incredible. So that came from the Bruderhof.
Yeah, that was from, that we received butternut squash that we handed out at Thanksgiving, and then the cabbage that we were handing out regular, but the butternut squash we used for Thanksgiving. So, and that both of those things came from the Bruderhof. So, yeah, they're another great, but we talk about it all the time. They're a great community partner, and we're lucky to have them in our area also because they do so much. I have some of the volunteers, some women from the Bruderhof are actually going to meet me after we're done here to start working on Project Santa. This year we're doing stockings where we're actually stuffing the stockings and making a stocking up for each child along with the gifts and the books and the winter weather stuff that they get every year. So
we're very lucky to have the Bruderhof here. I mean, of all the places in the whole world, this is one of the places they picked to have their community, and it just they contribute so much to our community. We're so lucky. And the youngsters also.
That's and they help out. They'll anything. I think that's true with any area. I see them always helping at all different not-for-profits, and also with the school district, and just all over the place. So It's lucky to have because many hands make light work. At least that's what they say.
And also, I think, Christine, I always realize when I'm volunteering at People's Place Cafe, a great place, is how lucky we all are because a lot of folks are 1 or 2 paychecks away. From having used the services. So so much of it is just luck.
I think that nothing shone a light on that more than COVID. I mean, because since COVID, since the middle of March, we've had over 1,000 new households use our services that never used us before. And the overwhelming majority of them were all folks who they're working. They were working. Some of them got laid off for a while, and they just, really didn't have money set aside. People, like you say, live paycheck to paycheck, or they have maybe a month's worth of savings in the bank. But, I say it all the time, all you need is for your car to break down, and then you have no savings. And it makes it tough. And, March and April, we saw an enormous amount of restaurant workers.
Yes.
Coming to see us in a lot of the stores that were closed, the salespeople, those type of individuals. We were really fortunate last week. Maybe it's a week and a half ago now. Steve Hartman from CBS on the Road came. I got a phone call at like 5:15. We were there, still working, and somebody's like, somebody from CBS is on the phone. I'm like, CBS? All right, what's this? So it was a producer who was, we'd like to come and film a piece about Thanksgiving. It really wasn't about People's Place per se. It was about the individuals who use People's Place. So, like, the next morning he was there. Boom. And then it was on Friday. That was like on a Wednesday, and on Friday it was on the CBS Nightly News. There's actually a link if anybody's listening and they didn't see it. It's a really heartwarming piece. All you have to do is go to our website, peoplesplaceuc.org, and there's a link there. Or it's also on our Facebook page, a link. But he only spoke to individuals that were online, to use the services at People's Place. And just what people said was, it's when you stop and you think about what you have to be grateful for, no matter what position you're in, it's interesting to see, how people really have perspective when you stop and think. And one of the things that Steve said to me afterwards when we were talking, when they were getting ready to leave, Steve Hartman. Yeah, Steve, I'm sorry. Yeah, that Steve Hartman said when he was done, was that he was amazed at all the people he spoke to, that they all, unless they were retired, every single person he spoke to was working. They all worked. They had jobs. They have jobs. I tell that to people all the time. The overwhelming majority of individuals in households that use our services, if they aren't retired, at least 85% of them all work. But they're working in service jobs, McDonald's. I'm just thinking some of the places he told me, McDonald's, Target, Walmart, different places like that, and they just don't make enough money to survive.
Right. Yeah.
They don't make enough money to pay all of their bills. If they have a car, by the time you pay for your car, your insurance, gas, whatever the case is, their rents, their whatever it is. So, and that's what we're here for. I think it was interesting that he saw that, and I thought it was good that he saw that, because all too often I hear when you're out and about, people say, "Oh, people just got a job." There's nothing further from the truth. It's if they came, a lot of the people who come to us, work 2 jobs, some of them 3. They work hard jobs where physical labor, where they're standing all the time. It's just that they're low-paying jobs, and in our environment, you need help, and if we can help, that's the beautiful thing.
And you'll also hear, we're talking with Christine Hine about People's Place. It is Christine and Kent Live on Black Friday.
Black Friday. So anybody who's out shopping, if they're still out shopping, I don't know if people are doing that anymore this year. But if you're out and you see a toy on sale, you could always donate it to People's Place for Project Santa, because we are going to need over 20,000 items to fulfill the gift packages that we give to all the children that register.
Yes. And we're just lucky, I think, because some people say, well, why can't they just pick themselves up? Why can't they? And people have no concept from the outside about the difficulties that people have.
Right.
Economic difficulties, maybe emotional difficulties, and things like that. So,
no, it's. I have heard, multiple times, far too many to count, people who have come to us for help and are so embarrassed and so sheepish because, and I hear the quote, I'm so embarrassed. I donate to here. I shouldn't be taking from here. Yeah. And I'm like, well, that's why you donated, to help people, and you need help now. And when you get back on your feet or over whatever challenge is going on in your household, then you can donate again. There is no shame. There should be no anyone who needs help from People's Place, or whether it's People's Place or family or community action, or there's all different agencies in our community. Boys and Girls Club. Don't feel you really shouldn't feel ashamed, or that's what we're here for. And so many times we have donors now who donate to us because we help them. And some of the best stories that you hear that make you realize, sometimes you get lost in the trenches and in the weeds, and then you hear a story and you're like, oh, yeah, that's it. That's why I'm exhausted. Because those are the important things. We have a phenomenal board member who's on our board because, wanted to help so much and become involved with People's Place, because when she was growing up, her mom was a single mom and she had 5 kids, and they used People's Place. They went to People's Place for food. And she said, I distinctly remember going. And she is a successful businesswoman. People need these helps, especially with their children. It's everyone's child is a community's child. We have to help everybody, because the children, they say it all the time, children of today are the leaders of tomorrow. And if we don't help make sure that they stay nourished and clothed and have some happy memories in their childhood, what will we have for adults in the future?
Very good. Christine Hine. We're here for phone calls. If you have any volunteer, you want to have any questions, you have any questions about People's Place, our phone number here is 331-9255. At 7:30, we're kind of excited to have Kingston Police Department Chief Tinty's going to come in and talk to us. 8:30, maybe Nadine will be here, do you think, at 8:30? Nadine?
She's supposed to be coming in or calling in.
She can call in if she wants.
Yeah, I text her to remind her. Yep. So that's a good thing. She's always a great person, and I'm hoping she's going to talk about her business, Upstate Original, and I think it's a great concept. And she has a phenomenal mission, so I'll let her talk about that when she calls in or comes in. And so what did you do for Thanksgiving yesterday?
Oh, Christine, hi. Well, I was talking to Lawrence. Lawrence went to La Canard with his mother. It was a good place to be. Our relatives are all out of town. Our daughter's in Maryland, and she can't come here, and her husband can't come here, and we can't go there. Yeah. So we saw Elaney from the Dietz Diner. We saw her on Saturday, and she said, yes, no, we're going to be serving Thanksgiving all day. So Anna Brett and I went to Dietz Diner.
Yeah.
And I cannot tell you how wonderful the food was. And, of course, we have enough food left over for about two more meals.
Two more meals,
and Elaney was there and came around. And
she's such a sweetheart.
I know, she does so much for our community.
So they do. Elaney, Dietz Stadium Diner, they support everything. Yes. So we should probably maybe touch on that, Beans. We have a couple of minutes before Chief Tinty comes in. This is the opportunity with the holidays, everybody's buys things for family members. Please shop small, shop local. Support all the local businesses that are struggling right now because of COVID. A lot of times people don't know what to do. So instead of buying maybe an Amazon gift card, buy a gift certificate to Dietz or to Bob to Todd, to local businesses in your community, whether we're in Kingston or Saugerties or Ellenville, wherever you are. Buy a gift certificate to a pizza shop for a teen so that they have gift certificates. The money goes to the local business and it will help them through this next, I think, what's going to be a tough wave for us to ride with COVID. So there are so many local businesses, and then you also get unique gifts.
I agree with you.
It's something different, and I try to shop around. I was in Hamilton and Adams the other day, which for those of you that don't know where it is, it's on John Street. I hope I said the name right. And they're across from Chops. the restaurant on the other side
Yes,
across from
yes,
that.
yeah.
And they have the coolest gifts, and a lot of them are Kingston or New York.
Yeah, and
logoed and
upstate too.
things,
They play a
and,
big upstate thing.
and yeah, so they have some really awesome things there, like just fabulous shops. Exit 19 has really unusual gifts too.
There was
But
a
there's all
display of,
kinds.
it was in a couple weeks ago. It was like not National Geographic covers, but some common everyday thing they had framed and hanging on the wall.
New Yorker.
Was it New Yorker
Yeah,
covers?
because they have puzzles of old New York
Yes.
magazine covers.
Yeah.
That's why it's something unique. It's
Yes.
something different, and you're shopping and supporting. I saw beautiful. Oh my heavens, these beautiful poinsettia topiaries in the window at Petalos. But he's selling. You can find some fun and unique gift items right here in your own backyard. I'm sure businesses down on the Strand are open, and Saugerties has phenomenal shops there. If you can, keep it local.
And you
Keep it
can
local.
walk.
Supports.
It's a great, Kingston's a great walking city. You
Yeah.
can park your car wherever you want to, just like you would if you were in New York, and walk
That's
around
right.
uptown. All these little stores that are there that are they're coming. They're new to us, new to me, I should say. And and I walked during the famous pandemic. You might have heard about that. I did uptown walks and downtown walks, and all these little stores are just really wonderful. You're very unique.
There's a lot of new little stores down on the Strand too.
Yes.
So I'm assuming they'll all stay open through at least through the end of December, right? With Christmas. So
It was the downtown was jammed this let's just say fall, summer, and it was jammed downtown, on the weekends, and the same with uptown. It was all these people walking around, had their phones all out looking for places, and it was just so wonderful to be a tourist in our own town.
I know. So if you're thinking of, I just point it out there. If you're thinking of buying any kind of holiday gifts, try to think local. Buy a gift certificate to a local place. The people will always find something they like to eat at whatever restaurant or eatery you gave them, or some shop. That there's always interesting things to find. I have my fun, awesome mask. I got at Bob the Totem, right? See,
Yeah, Anna
matches my
Brett was in
shirt.
the other day, so
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
friends at Bob the Totem, and I
Yeah.
had mine on too. This is my new one.
Ulster County Italian American.
Ulster County Italian American Foundation.
It's the COVID has produced a whole new fashion line,
I
right?
know,
Like all these masks in all different colors and
know.
styles and
Didn't you have your
patterns and
People's Place
sayings.
mask? Or
We have People's Place masks. Yep. We have People's Place mask that prom in gown. Amelia made for us.
Oh, yeah. Yes,
and,
yes,
and
right,
gave
yes.
them to us over
Yes.
on Ulster Avenue.
She was like the
she's
first.
a prom
Yeah.
shop there, and she made them, and they say People's Place on them.
Yeah, but I had the one that I think without the writing, but had the fabric. I
Yeah,
still have
yeah.
those. They're collector's items now.
Are they? Yeah.
Face mask. From
That's
the
funny.
first one.
That's funny. So, Anyway, that's coming up, and I think that it's a nice thing to, for those that have the opportunity to be able to be a little slower in life and take the time, whether you are working from home or you are on schedules. A lot of people have 3 days on, 2 days off, whatever the case is. It is the opportunity to sort of think about life and slow down a little and enjoy the different seasons. What's happening.
I think Thanksgiving at the Dietz Diner, which is Anna Brett, and I had a wonderful time there. It was just in our booth. We were safe, and so it was wonderful food. And again, the owners, locally owned, Eleni and Sanuga came over and said hello to us and Aga, and we had a great time. So, Christine, what did you do for your Thanksgiving?
I went to my mom's.
Oh,
because
great.
She's in what they would call your bubble. I see her every day.
Yes. I see her, yes,
we went to her house. We were supposed to have a big Thanksgiving with my brother and his girlfriend. They just renovated their house, but it was, we can't do it this year. It's too many people, and my sister didn't come down. She stayed up in Clifton Park for the same reason, and everybody just kind of stayed. So it was quiet, but nice.
And your mother, Rita Shabbat, I see her all the time at People's Place. She
comes in
every day, I'm guessing.
She's back to every day. We had for a long time we didn't let any of the volunteers come in until we figured out a system. And then it was like 1 or 2 days, and now she's there every day.
Yeah.
She's been helping out with Project Santa and any of the boxes that you see out and around town. We have boxes in about 60 different businesses around town. Toy collection boxes that you can donate to People's Place. And she and Larry Levine wrapped all of those boxes. And we wrapped them and put the posters on them. And I think it took them 2 weeks at least to do all of them, because the boxes we got donated from Always Moving. So thank you very much, Paul. And they had to all be, taped up and put together and then wrapped. So they're all out and about throughout the area. And of course, if you want to donate and you can't make it to People's Place while we're open from 10 to 1, there's usually somebody there by 8 in the morning, but the door is locked. You can always drop off your toy to Swim King because they have a pool that they've been doing this with us for, this will be my 9th Christmas there. So I think we started the next Christmas, so probably for 8 years. And people can drop off toys to them. They're open from 10 to 5. Monday through Saturday, and I think 10 to 4 on Sunday. But you can drop your toy off there, they'll collect it, and then they bring it over to us before we start the toy distribution. So
now, should the toy be unwrapped?
The toy should be unwrapped, and it must be new in the box, because that's part of the magic of Christmas, that this is an opportunity for children who maybe are used to hand-me-downs or toys that are bought in a thrift store or from a neighbor, to get something new for Christmas morning. We like to say we're trying to keep the magic of Santa alive, the magic of Christmas, the happy memories. It's important. I have a friend who received toys from a toy program when he was growing up. It was just him and his mom, and she was struggling, and he still remembers it. He still remembers he got a battleship, and it makes an impression. It does affect children. It affects people as an adult. He always gives back now because he remembers getting something when he was a child.
That's great.
Yeah.
Lawrence, did you give us a signal?
All right.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, she's good. Okay. I was engrossed in our conversation. So.
All right,
okay,
time for a break.
Right back. Christina Ken live.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
100 years ago, there were 100,000 tigers in the wild. Today, there are as few as 3,200. The Earth's wild animals can't speak up when they need help, but we can. Be the voice for those who have no voice. Visit worldwildlife.org.
This is Greg Chorvis, and once again, the WGHQ Happy Christmas Fund is asking you to help the needy this holiday season. For the last 50 years, the WGHQ Happy Christmas Fund has helped less fortunate families have a happier holiday. Look for our collection boxes at the local branches of the Ulster Federal Credit Union, Rondout Savings Bank, the Mid-Hudson Valley Federal Credit Union, Ulster Savings Bank, and at the Kiwanis Ice Arena in Sorgenes. Thank you very much, and have a happy and Merry Christmas.
Hi, I'm Steve Thomas for Habitat for Humanity Restore. Habitat Restores are nonprofit home improvement stores and donation centers that sell new and gently used furniture, building materials, and appliances to the public at a fraction of the retail cost. The Ulster County Restore at 406 Route 28 in Kingston needs your donations. Call our hotline at 845-853-7499 to schedule your free pickup. And thanks.
Long ago, you wouldn't think of galloping on a horse while doing calligraphy, and you wouldn't have attempted to ride your bike while typing a letter. Yet you think you can safely operate a multi-ton vehicle while texting? Behind the wheel is no place to multitask. If you want to BRB, drive now and text later. Lives depend on it.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Ruth Quick from the town of Ulster. I support Kingston Community Radio, and you should too.
This portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Ulster Savings Bank. Visit their newest branch, conveniently located at the Ulster Commons Plaza in Lake Katrine. Experience the difference that local community banking offers with the convenience of another great location, easy access, plenty of parking, and a 24-hour ATM. Ulster Savings Bank, invested in community, invested in you. Member FDIC.
Wow, yeah. Hey, welcome back. It is
Hey,
Christine
we're back.
and Ken live here on Kingston Community Radio, and we have our guests here today. We have Lisa Tinty, our city clerk from the city of Kingston, and also Chief Tinty, the chief of our Kingston Police Department. So welcome on this Black Friday.
Good morning. Black Friday.
Good to have you. So what's going on here? And Christine is here. We were talking about People's Place also, and all the great work that they do, and how lucky we are to have them, and the Bruderoff, and Christine Hine here also. So
There we are.
So
Black Friday, woohoo!
Yeah,
and you're here in the in the station, not out shopping. They're saving their shopping for Small Business Saturday.
That's what we're trying to do. That's what we're trying to do. Again, our call-in number is 331-9255. If you have some good wishes you want to send in and tell your stories about Thanksgiving or the holidays, again, it's 331-9255. It is Christine Hine, Ken Brett, and again, Lisa Tinty, our city clerk, and Chief Tinty, our Kingston Police Department. And we were talking before about One Adam 12 on See the Man, Want to See the Man, and on television.
Very different.
From 1960s. And about being a policeman in 1960s, and just everything about it. Of course, these huge cars, and but just how and they also had kind of stereotypical people. It was 1967 and 68, so things were just starting to happen, socially in our country, and it's so great to watch it now. It's such a simpler time.
It was a simpler time, yeah. They, when I came on in 1992, we had one radio in the car, one radio. And one box in the center console that controlled everything. When you had to go to a call, you just flipped the switch and everything came on. Lights, sirens, everything was, you just had to, and then there was a PA system. But as we were talking on break, the big thing there was, cell phones. I mean, when I came on in 92, we had cell phones. It was the old, big one or a bag phone. So nobody really had them in the cars yet. I mean, you might have had it for like personal use, and you were paying for minutes, usually 20-minute plans a month, and cell phone service. I think there was one in Kingston. Of all of Ulster County, there was one cell phone tower. It used to be Cellular One was the plan back then. Mm-hmm. And so when the sergeant, the headquarters would say, contact headquarters, 1015 is the code for it, 1015 HQ, and you'd pull up to a payphone, literally pull right up to it, and you'd say out the last four digits on the radio, 4233, because everybody knew it was a 331 number, and so the phone would ring, and sergeant wants a coffee, cream, no sugar, received on the en route, and that would be it. That's how it would happen. Or occasionally, if it was a private call, hey, you got to go see the man, and
see the man. I know. One Adam 12, see the man.
But today we have computers in the cars that can transmit messages, photographs. It's a mobile office with printed stuff. It's just amazing, and on top of everything else, I mean, and now we've gotten away from. We put officers together pre-COVID, and we call them double cars. But after the pandemic, we separated them out. We're not really riding around too much anymore, and that had some backlash. There was some issues to it. One, the camaraderie. When you're riding around with someone for 8 hours and you're handling calls together, and kind of get to talk about the bosses, especially the chief, and you can say certain things about them and employees at City Hall, and make fun of the city clerk. And
she's right here. She can hear you.
She's right here. Oh, don't worry. She makes plenty of fun of me, so, no doubt. But it's definitely an interesting changeover as we progress through. I mean, even when I came on, the old 1992 Crown Vics, you could roll the window down and grab the mirror and reach out there and grab the mirror, and now you just don't have that. Everything's designed around the front cab for police work. The new Ford Explorer X, the SUVs are just amazing. They're utility wagons that are designed, the doors open wider, so in case you have a combative prisoner, you can kind of put them in there easier. The cage design, everything's designed around police work. So a lot better than just taking a regular car and cramming everything in there. You know.
And how much weight is that patrolman carrying around on him? He's got all kinds of stuff. My gosh.
Typical duty belt that an officer wears will have one. So they have a regular belt holding up their pants. Normally, then the duty belt, which is a 2 1/4 inch. They call them Sam Brown belts, but heavy duty belt. So you have a weapon with a holster. There's a duty weapon. You have a taser. You have OC spray, a baton, usually an expandable baton that's on there, radio, gloves, a packet for gloves, handcuffs. In some cases, most officers now carry a tourniquet. They'll carry a small tourniquet on there. Yeah, that's usually what they carry now. But now you have all that weight, and depends on your body style, but sometimes you're always pulling the belt up, and you got to use keepers, these small leather keepers that tie your duty belt to your pant belt, through the loops. And there's been a couple of occasions where some of the officers have to put suspenders on underneath their uniform shirt just to hold everything up. But it's a lot of weight, and now you're in and out of the car. Your gun's sticking out, you're catching on stuff, you're riding around in this patrol vehicle, putting a seatbelt on, taking it off, and so it's different. It's I kind of take it, and then just like here, like this seat here, right? I'm a wide guy. If I sit down in this seat, I'm okay. But if I have my gun belt on, I'm catching on the handles. Right. So at dispatch, they look like these oversized chairs, though you can sit down and not have to worry about catching on anything. But
the other thing we're taught that's changed a lot, I think, is, and Christine and I were talking before about a lot of folks have emotional problems.
Yeah.
And just
Christine,
and so now it becomes how we deal with those folks, how we deal with them at people's place, and
I mean, it's tough, and sometimes people have they for whatever reason they've stopped taking their medicine, or they're having a bad day, or whatever it is, and there have been times where we call KPD. We have to, and because the volunteers there are mostly over 65, 70 years old women.
Hey,
majority of them. I didn't say all. I mean, not you, Ken, not you.
It's just a number.
It's just a number.
But it's sort of, I guess, unfair in a way, because it's not a break-in or a crime, but we call KPD. They come right away. The guys are great. The women are great. The officers, whomever come, sort of as soon as somebody, and it's sad, but as soon as somebody sees the police coming, majority of the time they're like, I'm leaving, and we don't usually call them until we're like, asking them a couple different times, you have to leave, you need to calm down, you need to go, come back tomorrow. But, officers are also mental health.
Yeah. And that's unfair. I mean, like kind of, Elisa says right from City Hall, how many times have you had to call where people come in the building?
It's unfortunate, but they, people who need help will come to City Hall hoping that we can help them, or they're looking for something that they are not entitled to get. And like you said, for whatever reason, perhaps they're off their medication. And it's that point where we all have panic buttons near us everywhere in City Hall. And I say to him all the time, I almost pushed the button. And he says, well, when you feel like I might push the button, push the button.
Push the button. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you'd rather be safe than sorry, but it's just like you said, you get to that uncomfortable point where you've asked somebody to please leave, or you're trying to diffuse the situation and it's not going the way you'd like it to go. And sometimes you just need the presence. And
right. Because usually that will, most people will be, enough to say, okay. And I feel that your police officers are very in tune to at least the section of town I'm in that they'll see somebody, they'll know them. And also the fact that because they know them, I think it also helps the person that the reason we've called. They know, Officer Dan, they can go up and say, hey, Joe, what are you doing today? You know that you have to do X, Y, Z. And that's been our our experience with the Kingston Police Department is that if we have to call them, a lot of times they know the people that they're coming into contact with, the reason for the phone call, and they really treat them so nicely and talk to them, and they're like, dude, you can't do that, or do you want to come back? And and it helps. It's not dumping people on the ground and handcuffing them and all the other nonsense that a lot of times people, we don't see that where we are.
And I know personally, sometimes there'll be somebody in the office who's causing a commotion, and I'll call him and I'll tell them the name, and he'll say to me, they're not violent. They're just emotional. And it eases our office.
Right, yeah.
Just to let them know, okay, this, we just need to settle this person down, and they're not violent.
In a city environment like Kingston, with the Health Alliance, when they had the psychiatric unit here for evaluation, that also created some additional encounters because, other jurisdictions would bring them here for evaluation. Normally they get viewed, the doctor would meet with them, the examination, here's some medication, or here's what, and then they're left out into Kingston again. So now they're on the street, and, we had an incident, I think it was last year, where the individual left the hospital and immediately decided City Hall was the enemy and threw rocks and damaged the door. And, an officer showed up, like you said, showed up, hey, hold on, you got to come with us. And, I think broke the glass on the door or something.
Yeah, actually, it was during COVID. It was after they had gone to the hospital for help and were basically, I don't want to say turned away, but they didn't get the help that they needed.
Right,
and then here we are right there. And there were rocks, and
another big institution,
So we deal with them, and it's the unfortunate part. I mean, you're calling people with guns to handle mental health issue. And I know that's a big discussion right now, re-envisioning task force like Kingston has, and at the county level and so on. So it does present a host of considerations. If 25% of our calls are involving emotionally disturbed and mentally ill people, police officers don't receive that level of training. We get 21 hours of really what's essentially awareness training. So, and you're right. We know who they are normally, right? There's been occasions. I mean, unfortunately, at the Speedway last year, there was that incident where the elderly man was at the gas pump and the person just kind of lost it and, was not really from this area, but, had been treated and just lost it, right? So those are the situations you got to be always aware of. And, we tell people all the time when asked, listen, don't engage. I know most people have an internal mechanism to try to help, right? If someone looks like they're lost or we want to help, and call the police, right? And that's what we're there to do. But when you call the cops, you're going to get a cop. You're not going to get a trained mental health professional, right? Or we're like, this person needs help, right? That's what we're doing. So, but in some cases, I think we're working towards that. But, City Hall being closed, that presented, open and closed for certain hours, presented some issues, both for police. I mean, we had one that was an emergency call. It really wasn't, but somebody tripped an alarm. And the officers realized, hey, we can't even get into this building after hours. Remember, that was like, so, the fire department has the Knox box and they can get in. But with us, we're like, looks like everybody's okay. I never thought of this,
Needless to say, they all have keys now.
So now, you don't care of that.
From your experiences. I get the phone call, 911, we can't get in. What?
But Chief, I think also and Christine would agree that the police now are really great at de-escalating a situation. Whereas maybe 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, it'd be the other way around. They would show up and be like, well, everything. And now it's just, I also remember, we talk a lot about the police officers at the school and at the high school. And they were always, I saw Scotty a couple of weeks ago, by the way. And they're always, it was just so nice. Yeah. And they always de-escalated the situation and were very nice to the students and treated them like, human beings.
They were like a neighborhood police officer. You know, I mean, I think that there's a lot to be said for neighborhood cops.
There is. And when you have a closed environment like the school where you're dealing with the same three officers, in our case, the SROs, or even the security officers, like you mentioned, Jim Scott, and those, they get to know everybody. Yeah. That's not always the luxury we have in a city environment like we have now, right? So depending on when they're working, what shift, they may not be able to out there. You probably know most of the officers on day shift. in your dealings because that's the hours of your operation. But occasionally you get a midnight officer working the day shift to cover his overtime, and now he shows up and really doesn't know any of the none of the. A midnight officer's not going to know that Elisa is the city clerk. I mean, they may see the name, but they walk into City Hall to handle a call. They really don't know anybody, but the day shift officers do. Yeah. So we're trying to improve that relationship. It is difficult. We started the walking post. We're trying to do a little bit of that.
That's a great
a lot of people,
thing.
but it takes a lot. There's a lot going on there when you have officers out of the cars. And, initially the logistics of it is, okay, get about 10 minutes away from your car and start working your way back, right? Because you never know when the calls are going to come in. But the public has really taken to that. And we had plans of this in place pre-COVID. Remember the staff meeting in January, here's the layout, here's the idea, this is what trying to work out all that issue, and then it happened where no public interaction, right? There was nothing, we had to shut this thing down. So we're starting to ramp back up again, and now the numbers are going back up to some degree.
If you just joined us, it is Christine and Ken live, and we have in our studio here Chief Tinty from the Kingston Police Department and Lisa Tinty, our city clerk, talking about life in Kingston, New York during the great pandemic. Lisa Tinty, what's happened to City Hall since your husband dragged you in here this morning?
Drag? Wait a minute. I'll go with trick.
Oh, trick. Did he buy you coffee, though? He did buy you the paper?
Actually, I bought
Oh!
the day is young, so
working out pretty well here. Lisa Tinty said, what's happening at City Hall now? I had questions like building permits during this time. That's a silly thing. And plumbing, all these different permits.
Is City Hall open?
No,
or did they close it
actually,
again, right?
we were closed for many, many months, and then we opened up between 10 and 2, and we just recently closed again.
That's what I thought,
but, we are able to do everything now, either, through the mail or the drop box that we have now located at our side door.
Tell them about the death certificate, right? The city clerk's responsible for birth and death certificates.
Yes, all the vital statistics.
So she comes home and jokingly says, my office is responsible for life and death in this city.
That's right. Birth certificates and death certificates.
And dog license.
Yes, absolutely. Marriage license.
Yeah, wow.
That's right.
Yeah, so a couple of changes with COVID. The governor did have an executive order that all municipalities have to do marriage license virtually now. So that was new, because in the past you always had to come in and physically be in front of us so that we can see, okay, this is your photo ID, it really is you that's getting married. So we had to quickly, we discovered very early on that none of the computers in our office had cameras. So we had, we really couldn't do it initially, and thank God our tech department had gotten one extra laptop that did have a microphone and a camera on it. So we started to do the virtual marriage license. And initially we were thinking, well, why do they want to get married like now during this pandemic? We didn't put it together, but really it's for insurance. So what's happening, a lot of people, right, one of the partners has lost their job with the pandemic, and now they need insurance. So we are completely inundated. And it's mostly not local people, because with it being virtual, it's New York City are calling.
Where are they getting married?
So you can get married. You can get your license any place in New York State and get married any place in New York State.
Okay.
So we're getting a lot of people will mail us everything that we need, and then we set up the virtual appointment so we can see that yes, it is the people on the valid ID, and then we show them where you're going to need to sign. We mail it back to them. They mail it. So it takes long. However, down in the city, their appointments right now are into February. So
do they have? Can you scan? Like, can they scan you?
We're not supposed to
and then
scan.
send it to you. Oh, you need the physical copy.
Right. So it's a process. Or they can put it in the drop box outside. We go out and get it. We process it. We meet them back outside to tell them here it is, and they come in and pick it up. A lot of people choose to do that. They'll drive up. They'll make their appointment and they'll say, we're going to be in the parking lot. So we're trying to be as accommodating as we can. And especially a lot of times somebody will need their birth certificate, their child's birth certificate, and they're outside in the car. So we leave it outside on our wall. There's a lot of back and forth going on. But, people need what they need when they need it.
So in New York, Lisa Tinty, you're saying that there's the waiting list to get the license.
The license.
Is how many months?
Down in New York City. Yeah, it's because everything, again, it takes time to do the virtual
the
appointments.
bureaucracy, yeah.
Right. They're booking into February. So people
Wow.
who really wanted to get married and can't wait for whatever, they're constantly calling around to see where they can get their license
Oh,
immediately.
and see, I always thought you had to be getting married in, like, if you got your marriage license in Kingston, that's because you were getting married in Kingston, and if you were
Right,
getting
no.
married somewhere else, and that you got your, I didn't realize you could
And
get
the
it anywhere.
dilemma with that is 20 years down the road, you're looking for a copy of your marriage certificate. So they'll call and say, well, we got married in Kingston. And, well, where did you buy your license? Well, we were living in Saugerties at the time. So that wherever you buy your license is where the certificate now is for the rest of your life. So if you live in New York City and you got your license with me, but you live down there, you can't get your certificate 10 years from
have to
now.
get
You
it
lost
up
your
here.
marriage certificate. Yeah, you have to contact us. A lot of times people don't remember where
Right.
they got it.
They were
because
in love, Alyssa.
Right.
They were in love.
They were in love.
I remember going at Palazzo and I getting our marriage license at City Hall, and you'll remember who the city clerk was for a long time. And I remember she would give us license, but she gave us some kind of little present. And you don't remember? You probably realized before your time, but
I didn't. We got our marriage certificate in Kingston, but we didn't get any little present.
We don't give out presents. No more presents.
Now they give out medical insurance and forms.
Right.
Oh, I wish I could remember. Yeah, she was such a nice lady too. Yeah.
Yeah, and
funny.
so and also if the death takes place within the city limits, we have your death certificate.
But they were shipping them up.
Yes. So during COVID, a lot of people were coming to our hospital because hospitals were full in other areas of the state and were dying here. So when a dead body goes in and out of the city, there's paperwork anytime a body comes into the city, anytime a body goes out of the city. So my deputy registrar was incredibly busy, not only with people coming up here and passing away here, but I know he's referring to down towards the city when people were dying at alarming rates, terrible, hundreds a day. And there were no funerals happening, so a lot of people had to have their loved ones cremated. And it takes a certain amount of time to cremate a body. You can't speed that time up. So a lot of people were coming here to be cremated at, tractor trailers full.
Right,
were
they'd send
coming
them
here.
to us, and then they would send
Right.
the ashes back down. So you had to have paperwork for that?
For everybody to come
Wow,
into the
I didn't
city
know that.
to be
Whew.
cremated, everybody to go out of the cremated remains leaving. So we had stacks and stacks of transit permits. It's what that's called. So,
Oh gosh.
yeah, we were incredibly busy during that time. So thank God it's not happening right now. But
Yeah, and I don't think anybody thought much about or knew anything about this before. So let's talk about births on the other side here. Yeah. So how about people getting born during a pandemic?
there's we have a lot of people that are choosing to do home births now, which is its own situation because you need a witness, and the mother can't be the witness. And so there's a lot of paperwork involved in that as well. When somebody
You need a witness.
that's not the parent,
Oh, okay.
So even if it's the husband and
right?
wife,
Right.
Doesn't matter.
Because you need someone else to sign the affidavit that this was their baby, because who knows, right? These are crazy times. So
Right. I would not think of that.
Yeah,
but
me neither.
I know.
Yep. Yeah, and if the couple is not married, the father's name cannot be on the birth certificate. So you have to then file for paternity. It's again, and you need witnesses.
Oh, if
that
you're,
they're-
is that even if the baby's born in a hospital, or is that just at home?
no, that's if
So if a couple is not married, then it's
Right.
just the mother's name on the birth
right.
certificate.
That there's paperwork that they can fill out, and they need to have witnesses that non-relatives that this was a relationship. And
Wow. I wouldn't think of that. That's,
yeah, a lot of it's
Interesting.
interesting. I've learned a lot.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot. We're very busy. I like to tell him that we're busier than you are.
Yeah, every so often she'll call the office. I need some help with something on this file. I'm like, listen, I have a staff meeting. Oh, stop. She goes, I'm not that busy.
You're not as busy as I am.
Lisa Tinty from our city clerk's office. I had no idea.
I know. Like, think of the little tidbits
and
we've learned.
listeners are probably saying, wow, all these different things and how the pandemic affected the city clerk's office.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We were very, very busy. And we're also doing all of our meetings virtually now. So, and that has been challenging to have all of our committee meetings, because I work with the council. So to have the committee meetings, and then we just finished our budget meetings. I had, in the month of November, between the regular committee meetings, special committee meetings, public hearings, and then just all the finance meetings, we had 15 night meetings in the month of November.
Wow.
Yeah.
And one went on till 11 o'clock at night.
Wow. Yeah. Now, does Chief Tinty have to get his own dinner then when that happens?
Yeah, a lot of times it's...
I'll share this with the listeners and the viewers. The camera's off sometimes, in her case, because she's in her pajamas.
Yes, I am.
So just so everybody knows.
Well, it's till 11 o'clock.
Oh, yeah.
I know. It's really the whole virtual thing, and we Zoom... we Zoom our Irish show. We Zoom that also, and with our daughter and her husband, we Zoom. But the other meetings and when the whole political season was going on, that got a little confusing for a lot of folks.
Yeah. We just had our public hearing for the proposed budget, and we had 47 people call in. Yeah. And it's hard to, when they call in, you can't tell who's talking. So there was a lot of trying to figure out who is the caller that you're calling on, because people are talking in the background, which does mess with what you're trying to do when you're running the meeting. Yeah. It was challenging.
Do you do the meetings on Zoom, or what's the format or platform?
We are using GoToMeeting in City Hall because it's a little more secure.
Yeah.
But we are in the process. I believe we're going to be transferring over to Zoom.
We find that it's a little bit more convenient with some of the internal stuff.
Yeah, we have 2 minutes, Lawrence. We're going to take a break and do birthdays. Is that still true? Okay. We have the lady right here. She has birth certificates with her, carries them.
That's it.
All the time.
There you go.
Just in case she sees a birth and she can witness it and sign on to that. So, again, it says Christine and Ken. We're going to take a short break, and then we'll be back. We have, again, Chief Tinty from our KPD and Lisa Tinty, our city clerk here, talking about life and death and the streets of Kingston.
Yeah, all kinds of info.
Everything that happens in
That's right.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
Someone in your town, at your school, or where you work is suffering from Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. They're dealing with excruciating pain and days when they can't even get out of bed. Chances are someone you know has Crohn's or colitis. Someone like me. I'm Amy Brenneman, and I'm asking you to support the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America to help millions of us cope and to find cures. Visit ccfa.org today to learn more. Help someone you know get back to their lives at ccfa.org.
This is Nina Poshupak. Once again, the WGHQ Happy Christmas Fund is asking you to help the needy this holiday season. For the last 50 years, the WGHQ Happy Christmas Fund has helped less fortunate families have a happier holiday. Look for our collection boxes at the local branches of the Ulster Federal Credit Union, Roundout Savings Bank, the Mid-Hudson Valley Federal Credit Union, Ulster Savings Bank, and at Cantine Field and Saugerties. Thank you and have a happy Christmas.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Have you ever experienced a wish come true? For a child battling a critical illness, a wish come true can be a turning point. One song, one dance, one game, one adventure, one moment changes everything. Make-A-Wish needs your support to grant the wish of every eligible child. Visit wish.org now to help grant more life-changing wishes. Together, we can transform lives, one wish at a time.
Hi, this is Winnie from the Rosendale Seniors, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
This programming is brought to you by the Friends of Kevin Cahill. As a strong advocate of local broadcasting, Assemblymember Cahill urges you to support Kingston Community Radio with your time and donations. Your contributions keep KCR vital and on the air at FM 92.5, AM 920, and on the web at mykcr.org. Please join Assemblymember Cahill and send your gifts of $10, $25, or more to Kingston Community Radio, Post Office Box 4364, Kingston, New York 12402. Together, let's keep KCR alive.
Okay, hey, welcome back. It is Kingston Community Radio. Christine and Ken live here on a beautiful Black Friday. Our guests for this whole hour, and that we're very fortunate here. We have a couple here. Our KPD, our Kingston Police Department Chief Tinty, and his lovely wife, Elisa Tinty, our city clerk. And they're going to join us right now again with the birthdays. We're going to start off with Friday, is it? Friday's birthday?
Friday, today's Friday. Yeah. So happy birthday to James Rutledge, his 65th birthday. And happy 81st birthday to Aileen D'Amico.
And the winner is?
The winner is Jim Rutledge.
Yay! Jim Rutledge. And what do we have for him, lovely Elisa?
Let's see. We have the famous cow pie from Boyce's Dairy Milk House on O'Neill Street.
Okay, Jim Rutledge, you can stop by and pick it up. And again, the Boyce's is locally owned and operated for probably about 50 years here.
Yeah. And he can pick out his favorite flavor, too. Like, they come in all different flavors.
Yes.
Yeah.
And a great
So
gift
it's
idea.
options. It's another good gift idea. You know, Small
Gift
Business
certificate.
Saturday.
Or if you're going to dinner at somebody's home, you can bring some cow pies for dessert.
Oh, they'll let you in. Well, if you have a mask and sanitizer. Or you can leave it on the door and ring the bell.
Friday and put it under the mat. Okay, Chief Tinty, you have Saturday's
I
birthday.
have Saturday, November 28th. Wish a happy birthday to Danny Haquita, your friends at People's Place. We hope you enjoy your special day.
Hey, Danny!
Big winner.
Wow.
Famous cow pie at Boyce Dairy Milk House. Community radio. Outstanding.
Locally owned.
Yeah.
Locally owned and operated. Yeah, so stop by there and maybe you're going to somebody's home for dinner for the holidays. Bring some cow pies. Great idea for dessert. And Danny, thank you for all you do for our people.
Yeah. So Danny, who won, his birthday is tomorrow. And if you come to People's Place at all, you will have seen Danny because he's always out front. He's the donation coordinator. But, he's everywhere.
He is.
And, yeah, good guy, always smiling, trying to help people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it is Christine Hine. Christine Hine is from our People's Place. And we were talking before our first half hour about People's Place and all the great work they're doing for our community, especially this time of year, Christine. Huh?
Busy time of year. But it sounds like City Hall is like slamming.
Wow.
Man, I had no idea. Like, I love, see, this is the thing when you listen to KCR, you find out all kinds of interesting tidbits. And I had no idea that, A, you could do a marriage certificate for some place other than people getting married in Kingston, and that it was so hopping.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very busy.
I actually thought people were delaying their weddings.
Yeah, no, it's we actually had to. At one point, we had to limit how many we could do in a day because we couldn't get anything else done. Yeah.
Is there a charge for a marriage certificate? I thought there was.
A marriage license is $40, and you get your certificate. That includes when you return. So a marriage license is only good for 60 days.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So if, but again, the governor did extend that during the first wave of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So if your license had expired during that time period, it extended for free.
Mm-hmm.
That has now expired. So I don't know if he's going, obviously I don't know if he's going to extend that or not.
Mm-hmm.
He also had extended driver's license that had expired.
Oh, yeah, I remember that, yes.
So, because you need that. You need to have your certified birth certificate and a valid photo ID to get the marriage license. So then if you want a copy of a birth certificate or a death certificate or a marriage license later on, a copy of your certificates, there's a $10 fee per copy.
Great. So we were talking before about this pandemic, about folks, how important if they want to get married. In some places, there's a waiting list to get that license. And so if you are thinking, we have a phone call here. Thank you, Lawrence. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. How you doing?
We're doing well. How are you doing today? We have Chief with us today, Chief of Police, and we also have our city clerk with us today, and Christine and Ken.
Good. Talking about marriage licenses.
Yes, you said that.
Okay.
Yes.
In the old days, you used to have to take a blood test. Would you happen to know why they did that, and do they still do it? And if not, why not?
Well, we definitely don't do it now, and I don't know why they did it or why they stopped that. But no, we don't require
I wanted to make sure you didn't have a certain disease, I think, maybe.
Yeah, there was some gene or something that if you both had it, you couldn't get married or something like that, because children would be handicapped or something like that.
I never heard that. I don't know.
I had heard that before, that you would have to have a blood test, but that was like way before. We didn't have to have it, and we're married 31 years, so that's,
Wow.
Yeah.
I think we did have to have it, and that was 40 years probably, but yes.
Well, they knew you were shady there.
I think there were certain diseases that might have been.
Again, they knew you were a little shady. They didn't want to ruin Anna's life. Make sure you were okay.
That transmitted certain. I don't know. That's a good.
You're not making your case, Ken.
That's a very good question. Maybe somebody has the answer to that. Why, in time in history, you had to have a blood test in order to get a marriage license. So, if anybody knows the answer to that, give us a call. We're at Kingston Community Radio 331-9255. Why did you have to have a blood test in order to get married? I don't know.
In Kingston.
I don't know.
I'm just so glad they don't need it now. I'm just very glad.
So I have a question, because it does pertain a little bit to why People's Place calls the police, not regularly, but on occasion. You mentioned that, police officers are not social workers. They're not trained in that area. Like you said, they do get about 21 hours of training or counseling, or whatever it would be. Have you been speaking with anybody about creating a plan for Kingston Police Department to have a social worker with them, or a contact number they can call and have someone meet? Or
So we do utilize mobile mental health. It's a county level agency that does respond when we call. Their hours right now are somewhat limited. We have, as I pointed out before, about 25% of our calls involve mental illness or emotional disturbance to some degree. COVID doesn't help, right? People being locked down.
Right, yeah, it makes it
throwing
worse.
people off their normal routine doesn't help. And in some cases, if they are on medications to help with some of that, and they fail to remain on those medications, we end up getting call. And a lot of times people are trying to do the right thing and say, there's a person walking down my street screaming at the street light. Can you send someone? So we hope that the officer recognizes that upon arriving, but in some cases, the person maybe have violent tendencies, not towards the officer or towards people, but maybe screaming and yelling and carrying on. So people are somewhat apprehensive, but there is talk. I know City of Poughkeepsie just instituted something last year where they brought a mental health professional on board. The problem, again, the way I see it and some of the logistics is we're a 24/7, 365 operation.
Right.
Mental health or emotionally disturbed illness calls don't occur 8 hours a day. They occur 24 hours a day.
Correct.
They occur on Sundays and Fridays. And so you would have to have staffing available all the time. And even then, in some cases, if the person does display violent tendencies, although they may not be violent, they might just be out of control, social workers may feel a lot better, and we've been there, when they go, you know what, why don't you just restrain the person and then I'll talk to them, right? So we still have to physically put our hands on the people sometimes. So it presents problems. It does.
Yeah, it's tough.
And then, over the course of many years, we've been asked as law enforcement to do more and more and more, but when you boil it down to, it's still, as much as people say, well, you're public servants, we are law enforcement. You know,
Correct.
we carry fire extinguishers in the car to put out fires in our car. That's really but when we see smoke in a house, we call the fire department, right?
Sure.
So there is talk about setting up a mental health response team, and it's taken on different forms. There's different, at the county level, certainly at that level, the majority of the calls in the city, and I don't have the exact statistics, but I want to say heroin overdoses. Right? 2020 has exploded ODs, and unbelievable. And the sheriff's office through Oracle has had some progress last year, but 2020 because of a lockdown and just exploded. So there's plans right now to bring back a program that'll help with that, because arrests aren't doing it. Right? Just not doing it. And then you add on to that with some of the changes in the bail reform, where before a person would be incarcerated either at the jail or in the prison and get the help they needed,
Correct.
right?
Right,
That's
right.
not happening. So today, people are given an appearance ticket and they're back on the street again, right? If they're nonviolent offenders, essentially they're back out, and if the crime they committed, which was not a violent crime, burglary or robbery, or I'd say robbery, but larcenies, that person might say, I still got a habit I got to feed, right? So they're going to go back to doing what they're doing. So it is difficult. This 2020 has been difficult for many reasons. So we hope, I know the mayor in the city has put aside about $100,000, right, in the budget, specific to what this task force will be implementing, some of the recommendations. And I'm on the task force right now. Lester Strong is doing it from Peaceful Guardian. Done a great job.
He's so great.
He is
Yeah,
absolutely an amazing individual. And he's broken us into small groups. Each person covers a particular topic, and then the group approves it, and then the overall task force approves it, and then the community sees it. But ultimately, the idea is to deliver these suggestions or plans to the common council members for adoption to meet the governor's executive order. So there's a bunch of changes, and I know the county's doing it, the town of Saugerties is doing it, the village, they're all out there working on it in their own regard. But jurisdictions are different, right? Just as a city environment, municipal environment, a county, where the county seat, we have 2 hospitals, largest school, so there's a lot going on in the city of Kingston that we may not have. The changes that take place in the town of Olive, for instance, will be very different, if any, than the changes in the city of Kingston.
Right.
But it comes always down to money. We want the cops out of the car more. Okay, but the call volume's not going down. We still have to handle calls. So, how come you don't have a bike patrol? How come, we need this or a canine? It comes down to staffing. It comes down to staffing. And I know there's individuals and organizations out there that think, well, we should just, to some degree, and I know that the word is taken out of context, but defund the police, that is really not possible until there's a mechanism in place to offset the calls that we are handling. It would make sense to have a group, an organization respond to mental health calls with maybe one police officer in case. But as we saw in Poughkeepsie most recently, they went there in that capacity, and 2 officers got hurt by an individual who was violent. The officer got stabbed in the neck with a screwdriver, and so it was bad.
And then what happens if it's the mental health worker that got stabbed in the neck?
Right. And
Scary,
again,
scary.
with us,
You have a scary job.
we have training we are the muscle of the government, right? And I say that because that's truly what happened, right? We are empowered, the authority, and really kind of is given to us to use force to affect change. Sir, I need you to get out of the car, right? You are under arrest. I'm not getting out of my car. A mental health worker can try to convince them, this is in your best interest, this is what we got to do, we got to get you help. A cop is going to reach in and grab that person by the arm and drag that person out. We are the muscle, right? People don't like to hear that, but it's true. And not only physical force, we are authorized to use deadly physical force, right? At some point, to protect our life or the life of another, we can shoot somebody, right? And as much as people out there believe, the cop is kill people. That's not our intent. We just want to stop the action, right? If the individual is violent, he's out in the streets swinging a sword, and we're just not able to make contact, and he starts going after a small group of children, and the cop is authorized to shoot that person. If the person drops a sword and falls to the ground because he got shot in the pinky toe, great, we win. If the officer shoots him in the chest, and now the individual is going to die, again, that authorization exists. So as long as it's reasonable, necessary, and justified, then that use of force will be justified in the eyes of the jury. So,
Have you found, I mean, obviously this is not a new concept, it's probably all over the country. Have you found any cities in the country already who have married with mental health departments that you've seen work and maybe are a good copy, something to replicate or use as a basis?
So Dave McNamara from Samadhi, they work off the Clinton Methodist Church. He's part of the task force, and he's talked individually about how, I think it's cahoots, I think that's what they call it, out in Oregon, and have had great success over many years. And essentially, they operate as a mental health organization that works with police very closely. And I think, again, roughly about the numbers, about 20-25% of the calls that the cops were handling before, they're taking care of now. I don't have the stats. He delivered it to one of the task force meetings. I think he did a great job with it. But it just goes to show you, but again, going back to, say, the town of Rosendale may not need those same level of services that the city of Kingston does.
Correct.
Right? So, but it costs money. Everything costs money today. You just can't get away with doing it any other way.
You mentioned about the heroin overdose, which is probably an all-time high, maybe. But how do you deal? We've tried to deal with that since drugs were invented or created or whatever, about some kind of program. And it's whatever you're feeling that is so bad that this thing makes you feel better, until it doesn't. Then it's like, there's no solution. How does a police department deal with that? And
again, so with us, we're very fortunate. We have a full-time fire department. So in some cases, the call comes in as a medical call, subject down, KFD responds. We are working closely with the county for record-keeping purposes and really for help. I mean, our officers, if they get there, fill out, everyone carries Narcan now for try to bring the person back from the OD. But in some cases, the individual doesn't feel, when they come off of it, when Narcan's deployed, that person is now conscious and in some cases signs off. Like, they're like, no, I'm good. I don't want to go to the hospital. Right. And you can't force them in. Yeah. Next thing you know, they're walking away from you. They're like, listen, and so the idea with some of the responses like the sheriff has with Oracle is to have someone there at the scene or right after to talk to that individual and offer them the help they need to come away from that addiction. And I don't have the exact stats, but there's it takes people a number of times to actually get off of it. It is truly an incredible incapacitating drug, and for us, it cripples us. And as a society, it cripples us.
Sure.
When you look at the resources that it takes, right, the KFD and the hospitals and the addiction centers and luckily that seems to be coming around now to the point where for us, there's a turnaround. Because, as the sheriff said many times, we can't arrest ourselves out of this situation. We just can't. In the past, that's the way it happened. Somebody got caught with drugs, you'd make the arrest, and that was it. Cops would go, there you go, right in their hands of the court now. We're done. Now we're going to handle a different call. And I think for us, you talk about de-escalation. You mentioned before, and that's relatively new. I'd say within the last 10 or 15 years that officers have taking the time to let's find out what the problem is, let's kind of work through it. But in the past, honestly, as a street cop, it didn't matter to us. It didn't, okay, hold on a second. You guys had a fight. Who punched who first? You punched him, you're under arrest. Well, hold on a second, it doesn't matter. I don't want to hear it. Put your hands behind your back. And that was just the solution, right? Grab him, bring him in front of the judge, Your Honor, sir, have at it, right? Back to the call. I got to pick up a coffee for the sergeant. And that's it, right? We didn't think twice about it. That's just the way things were. Right. Domestic violence. When I came on, the majority of the domestic violence calls were handled like, listen, go walk it off, right? You're drunk, go walk it off. And that was it. Back in the car, let's go eat something. Today, DV and intimate partner violence is taken as they should be. Society's changed. It's no longer acceptable. All those things but we still have a core group of individuals that lack the moral fortitude to adhere to society's rules. So those are the ones that we get called on. I'm not talking about mental health or emotionally disturbed people. We're talking about violent offenders. They still occur, right? We still have some homicides that we're working on, the cases. We still have shootings that are taking place. And in a city environment, the cops can't be everywhere, right? I've said before on some of these shows, we have 6 officers for 23,000 residents.
Wow.
An 8-hour tour.
Oh, yeah.
You know? So when we had this influx of state police and sheriff's deputies coming in, and it was a lot. You know, we had essentially doubled the amount of police during that time period. So a lot of people were like, whoa, what is going on
They're
here?
not doing that any longer?
In a modified form. It's not, and I'll use the word, it's not as intense as it was before. It's a combination of both working the perimeter, and because ultimately we just wanted to lock down the city, right? And some people don't like it. It's the only, really the analogy I can use. It's like a fire. The house is burning, you call everybody in. Everybody get on it, throw the water on it, and then after that, once it's done, you can kind of back off the personnel and just, with a fire extinguisher, just keep an eye on it, right? So that's the same thing we're doing here. But it is difficult. I mean, there is a lot of times where police officers get to a call, and we're called everything from mental health or emotionally disturbed people, all the way through to there's a squirrel in my house. Or in some cases, they call your office for a rattlesnake, you said?
Wow. There was a rattlesnake in City Hall?
Oh, thank God. No, but we did get a call.
Oh, okay, no.
Someone who,
holy moly.
She had to call it from someplace else.
I did have to ask him, can you repeat that? You have a rattlesnake in your kitchen? Are you sure it's a rattlesnake? He's like, oh, it's rattling at me. And I was so happy to hear he didn't live in the city of Kingston. He was actually in the town of Ulster. Like, well, hold on a minute. Let me give you the DEC number.
Well, we did. When we had I was joking before about the deer came through our front door.
Yeah.
In the city of Kingston. And my neighbor, who's Anthony, is a sheriff. I think he's in New Paltz now, a deputy or whatever. And I said, Anthony, call 911. And so he said, okay. And I call, and they said, yeah, we have a deer. I said, a deer came in the house. Yeah, okay, we already got that call. I said, oh, well, okay. So, yes, 911.
Yeah.
God.
Well, I think it's because people don't know what to do.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the whole thing. Like, I mean, my brother is a member of the Kingston Fire Department, and yeah, like I'm like, really? So you got a call for that? Like, that doesn't seem like that's a fire department issue. But people don't know who to call, but at least they feel comfortable calling.
Yes.
You know, the police or the firemen.
That and who else?
Right, well, that's the thing.
24/7,
Who else would you do?
365. You know, the truth is our dispatchers will get a call, and it's just someone who wants to talk, right? We talked about it at the dinner at Thanksgiving yesterday, small group, just us, and we talked about like how the phone will ring and people be like, oh, I just want, oh, hello, you know, like, and they want to have a conversation while the other lines are ringing, right? Is this an emergency? It kind of is, you know. I haven't really. My son hasn't called me back, and he lives in, you know. And they're like, "Man, really, is there something on fire?" No, okay, hold on a second, I'll be right back. And, but it's a shame, right? It's a shame that happens. But, now they call, but again, so now you have an officer who has never hunted, doesn't know anything about wildlife, grew up in the city, right? And now they're handling a skunk.
Yes.
Or they're handling a squirrel or a bat, right? We get calls for
Yeah.
bats in the house sometimes. And so depending on how you have, you know, and that's always a challenge. And again, I'll go back to some of the stuff we've talked about before. Officers vary from 65 years old with 40 years on the job to a brand new 20-year-old, just graduated the academy, still living home, mom and dad, you know, the whole thing, playing video games in the time off. And it's true, right? We have that variation.
I know.
So now you get a senior officer, gets the call, bat in the house, right? Officer walks in, puts on his gloves, takes out the baton, whack, hits the bat, picks it up, throws it outside, and we're done, right? But now you have a new officer that's never had any dealings with children. Doesn't have children of his own, not married, doesn't understand it, and the call comes in as a 10-year-old out of control. Now this young officer gets there, and he doesn't know how to handle kids, never had to worry about it before, and doesn't really know what to do, right? And our training is very limited. It's 750 hours of training, right? So when people say, well, I don't understand, you know, why weren't they able to talk that individual into the car? Because it's 21 hours. Imagine what a social worker has to go through, right? And somebody used to say all the time, there's more hours for cosmetology than there is for police work anymore, right? So I think that'll change across the country as a result of everything and some of the unfortunate events that have occurred. I think there's going to be a change in how we train our police officers, that there may be programs where In Kingston, you only need a high school diploma or HSE, right? Is that the? So that's all you need in Kingston. Other places like the state police need
So you had to have a
college credits,
college degree.
So,
I thought you had
right,
to have
you
a
don't
bachelor's.
No. So that's the difference too, right? So in Kingston and most of the surrounding jurisdictions, high school diploma. That's it. Then you take the test and you become a cop. 20 years old. 19 to take the test, 20 to take the job. But in some places, you've got to be, at minimum, you got to have a 4-year degree for some jobs. It's 60 college credits in others. And so that's the variation, right? And I think everybody will agree that if you go to college, a higher level learning institution, bachelor's, maybe master's, your views change slightly, right? There's a little bit more of a liberal thinking, a little bit more socially based thinking. But in high school, that may not be the case, especially if you grew up in a very rural high school, right? Not so condensed where you had to drive to school or take the bus versus a city environment where some of the kids were walking or, that kind of thing. So very different, very different environment. And I think all that plays into it, right? If you grew up in New Paltz and you're coming to Kingston to work, or you grew up in Town of Olive and Shokan and now you're coming to Kingston to work, and, from my own experience, I went to Onteora. I was a Town of Olive resident, and I came through, and I'm like, holy cow, look how all these houses are so close to each other. Like, that's unbelievable. How does a guy get a ladder up there to clean his gutters? There's no room in between those two houses,
I
right?
know.
We joke about it.
I know exactly what it is. There's no driveways and everything.
There's nothing, I'm like, there's no place to park the car, right? How does that work?
The first time I went to his house, my kids are going, there's no lines on the road. Like, where does he live?
There's no lines on the
road. The road went down, back roads, Town of Olive, and she's like, oh my God, like,
where
is this a
this
dirt
house?
road? Yeah. Not quite.
So
There's
funny.
asphalt underneath there. And again, right, jokingly, right, in the Town of Olive for many years, most of my career, in fact, and so she goes, I'm going to pick up dinner, some ice cream, and we'll be up there. I said, listen, just pick up the ice cream last. And she's like, what? I go, make sure you pick up the ice cream last and have an insulated carrier. She goes, what are you talking about? I said, it's a 20-minute drive, 25-minute drive. She goes, what?
You're like, I wouldn't have been coming if I knew it was 20 minutes.
We have 2 minutes, so
funny.
We have 2 minutes. Again, we've really enjoyed having Chief Tinty here from the Kingston Police Department, and Elisa Tinty, our city clerk, who was a wonderful guest here to come along with your husband. I'm sure you did.
Good sport. She goes, where are we going? I said, they're looking forward to it. We get out of the car. She goes, they do know I'm coming, right? I go, well, kind of.
But I see a free
We love having guests.
breakfast coming, to go, Town of Olive,
you did
maybe.
just fine.
No, it was really, that was eye-opening. It really was about that whole thing
Yeah,
about
yeah.
the city clerk's office. I thought you were kind of removed, but no, as it turned out, you're right.
I really think that they're just great sports for coming to be with us on Black Friday morning. They've woken up from their turkey hangover.
So anytime, you're both welcome here. Anytime you want to come on, and with Christine and Ken. We are off next month, though. We have Christmas off.
Yay.
Nice. Yeah, right. Yes. And but maybe in January next year we'll see you
Next
Feel
year.
free to come back and tell your
2021.
stories.
Time for maple season. Right?
All right.
Oh, see?
Good times.
That's how we plan it. We have a large chunk of land out in the town of Marbletown, and we do maple syrup and sheep and chickens and whatever else we got going on there. But maple season is definitely one that we
Challenges our marriage.
we used to say, I took this from someone else, that we love to see it start, but we love to see it end, too.
There you go.
So, towards the end of the season.
No idea what goes into maple syrup.
Late nights of boiling, and
a lot
we kind
of
of look at
work.
each other, and she goes,
My uncle used to make it. It's a
I
lot
hate
of
maple
work.
trees.
We start out gung-ho, and then we start with, I hate the
We're
sun.
gonna do it all
that makes the tree grow.
Yes. Great. Well, thank you very much.
Pull the taps!
Thank you so much.
We're all set then, Lawrence? Okay, thank you very much, the Tinty family,
Thank
for
you very
being
much.
here. Welcome
Thank
back.
you.
Oh, my.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
On top of first-class care, you will never receive a bill. The only thing we had to worry about was just keeping Azalea comfortable. St. Jude saved her life.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
This is Greg Chorvis, and once again, the WGHQ Happy Christmas Fund is asking you to help the needy this holiday season. For the last 50 years, the WGHQ Happy Christmas Fund has helped less fortunate families have a happier holiday. Look for our collection boxes at the local branches of the Ulster Federal Credit Union, Rondout Savings Bank, the Mid-Hudson Valley Federal Credit Union, Ulster Savings Bank, and at the Kiwanis Ice Arena in Sorgenes. Thank you very much, and have a happy and Merry Christmas.
A message from the American Migraine Foundation.
It's an absolute nightmare.
There's pain that does not stop.
I feel trapped by migraine.
Migraine is a disabling disease.
I feel like I'm dying. You feel like the world's closing in on you. There's nothing you can do.
It's like you're trapped in your head. There's no escaping it. You can't leave your body.
Don't suffer alone. Make your move against migraine. Visit AmericanMigraineFoundation.org to find help, learn more, and get connected.
We are Lions. We bring hope where it's needed. We are a global force for good. Support causes that matter. Change lives. Change communities. Change the world. We can do more together than we can alone. Join in. Experience the joy of serving. Be part of the movement. Give back. Let's unite the world for good. We are Lions. You can be too. Visit weserve.org.
Everyone is talking about healthcare these days. America spends twice that of other developed countries on our healthcare system, yet our health ranks near the bottom. How can we stop spending so much and getting so little? By shifting to a system that gives more patients access to strong primary care. Primary care can help make America healthy again. To learn more about the benefits of primary care, visit www.healthisprimary.org. This message is brought to you by America's Family Physicians.
Hi, my name is Jackie Lovezzo. I'm from Lake Katrine, and I support Kingston Community Radio because it is an invaluable resource to the community and its residents.
This portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Ulster Savings Bank. Visit their newest branch, conveniently located at the Ulster Commons Plaza in Lake Katrine. Experience the difference that local community banking offers with the convenience of another great location, easy access, plenty of parking, and a 24-hour ATM. Ulster Savings Bank, invested in community, invested in you. Member FDIC.
It's for syphilis. Hey, welcome back. It is Christine and Ken live here. I was looking for our applause-o-meter.
I know. Oh!
Here it is. Woo! Oh, gosh. Welcome
Crowd's
back.
a little slow there for a moment, but...
Oh, we do have a caller. Yes. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. It's Nadine.
Nadine.
Hey,
Nadine. Nadine.
How are you guys?
We're doing well. Nadine, I think now you're like Cher. You just have one name now, Nadine and Cher.
Nadine.
And everybody knows who you are.
Mr. Brett, do you know Ken? Mr. DeLeo, my science teacher in Miller, used to sing to me. There must have been a song, Nadine, and he would sing to me every single day.
Nadine. I knew Mr. DeLeo very well. We worked together. I was at Miller for a while there. Yeah, probably during your time. I can't remember. Yeah, Nadine.
Absolutely. Yes, it was. And one of my favorite teachers, him and Mr. Leahy, they were awesome.
Yes, yes. Okay.
How was everyone's Thanksgiving?
Right here. Again, it goes too hot. We're just adjusting your speakers, Nadine.
What's that?
We're just adjusting the speakers. Lawrence, is she loud enough? Nadine's loud enough? Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Nadine, what's going on? Nadine, I should tell about Enjoy the Ride and our experiences. It was such a great time. It was last winter, when you took a group of us down to New York, and it was a really romantic night. It was kind of raining and cold, and we went all over New York, had a great time with you and Jim, and we went to Rockefeller Center. And do you remember? And I said, I think it was such a romantic night, and nobody was at the skating rink except this couple in center ice, and he was on his knee proposing to this woman.
It was amazing. Yeah, it was. It was amazing to see.
It was.
We missed those trips to New York City, Ken. We we've been shut down since March. We don't really, obviously we couldn't do it then, but we're feeling that we won't do it again. Not now. I don't know what the future holds, but those memories of people like you and everyone that supported us, every trip that we took was magnificent. We did Arthur Avenue. We did New York City at Christmas. We did the Bronx Zoo. We did so many different things, met so many people, and shared so many memories. We're going to treasure them forever, and we thank everybody for supporting us with that venture.
Well, thank you. And Anna and I talk about it all the time, and about just that couple proposing in the center ice. So.
But Nadine,
well, that's what it's all about. Moments like that, right?
Yeah.
you have a great. Why I wanted, figured maybe you'd want to come on and talk. You have a great new business that you started, and we started out this show saying that people should buy locally, shop local with folks, helping out small businesses, because they really are the people who donate to all the not-for-profits and the schools and anybody that needs help, and they're really the lifeblood of a community. If small businesses start closing down, you won't have anything in your community. So you have started a new one, and I also love the mission of it. So I thought maybe you could share that with everybody listening.
Absolutely. Well, Christine, you and I have been involved in not-for-profits forever. We watched our parents, volunteer and do things like that. And, it's nothing new for that. But over time, the more I got involved and growing up and, asking for donations, it was always local. And, I've always promoted local no matter what. But I tend to, you tend to see that they're the ones that make this work. They are the ones that when you're doing these fundraisers, they're your go-to. They never say no. They always give. We have to support them. And during the pandemic and all the craziness of 2020, everybody, reinventing themselves or trying to figure out, their businesses are going down, their work is getting less, they're losing jobs, it was becoming overwhelming for me, and I kept talking to Jim about it, and we just kept doing so much, whether it was, going out and volunteering or doing this or, helping somebody, supporting somebody. We decided that we would brand not just ourselves, but our community, and we're working on a mission statement, because we feel that not just if you're born and raised here. Yes, we are our heart. We started our community, but we have so many people coming here that landed here and decided to plant some roots. So I'm going to read you the mission, if that's okay.
Yeah.
So our message is, and it's whether you're born and raised here or whether you landed here and decided to plant roots. If you live by this message, it's called Upstate Original. So the message is, for all we do, for you, for me, for humanity and unity. We are a vibe. We are a unique tribe. We are sisters. We are brothers. We are committed to doing what's right for each other and for our community. We love where we come from and where we have landed. We are Upstate Original. That is what we all are. That's our community.
I love that.
That's beautiful.
We started with, we made some T-shirts, and then it got to hats and sweatshirts, and it just took off so much. I can't keep things fast enough. I keep having to apologize to people. I'm sold out. It's a movement, and everybody wants to see our community move forward, and do well, and come together and unite and not have such division. Politics aside, in general, with people struggling, and this is really bringing people together, and I hope that it continues.
Yeah, it's great. So maybe we could talk. So Upstate Original is the name of your new company.
It is.
And
yeah.
Just for people who've not heard about you, maybe they're not on social media, explain what it is and how people can help support another new local business, a local business that I have to say is starting up during COVID.
Well, yeah, and this was, we really didn't know what to do. We had our car business. It is shut down. Jim works for UCAT. I work for Pestmaster. We have our jobs. I'm really part-time. It's not full-time, but, when the car business shuts down, you still have your car payments, you still have your insurances.
Oh, yeah, sure.
We have to do all that.
Yeah.
And we started to think, oh, maybe we should do something else, maybe we should whatever. And I wanted to do something that was going to move everybody forward that I know feels like we felt, that got hit. So we started to do merch. We decided we were going to do this merchandise. And it's what I love at 55. I've told my kids all my life, all their lives, do what makes you happy for a job. Because if you're happy doing what you do every single day, that's your life mission. You know what I mean? So we put this together. I love doing it. Right now it's merchandise. I've been approached by several, stores, boutiques, shops, not just here, locally, but up in Syracuse. Other states have contacted me. I mean, this is how far this is going.
Wow, great.
People who once lived here and relocated consider themselves, after they read this message and they see, what our community is doing and what we're trying to do as a mission. We call it a movement now. It's officially a movement. They're buying stuff. They want to represent. They want to live that message, that they are all brothers and sisters and coming together for the betterment of our community. So we decided that we don't want to be in stores right now. I know that sounds a little crazy and people are telling me we're nuts, but we feel that we want to be hands-on with this right now until it, maybe until spring. We're doing pop-ups so that we can talk to people about it. We're talking to people about maybe people that want to volunteer for our not-for-profits that need help, how they can donate, what the message is, what it is. So we are literally doing pop-ups everywhere so that we can talk to people about it. Jim and I are doing it together. My son and my grandkids, sometimes they're with us at these pop-ups. We're uptown. We've been downtown. We've been in the mall. Next Friday, this weekend we're taking off to decorate, but next Friday we'll be on Lucas Avenue at 75 Lucas Avenue on the big front porch of Pestmaster, where I work. We'll be all set up. People can come and buy. We've been approached by other stores and shops. We'll be on Fair Street again at La Shag. We're going to be down at Old Savannah downtown. We have a bunch of stuff, and people can come in person to talk to us and to buy some of this merchandise. And the line will get bigger. Right now it's sweatshirts. It's a clothing line, so it's sweatshirts, T-shirts, long sleeve or short. We have hats. We have sweatpants. It's really, kind of chill clothing line right now.
That's a great, and Nadine, every state has an upstate.
Every state has an upstate, and that is exactly what we're starting in upstate New York. We've trademarked it, the slogan. It is ours. We are very excited about this. We kicked off our first batch of shirts. I used a local printer, Deirdre Branford. She has DB Personalization. We did, and Christine knows she's ordered shirts for Christmas that are coming in. Deirdre's still making them. They have the town that people lived in. It just says Upstate Original. It's her. She did a little design on it, but she used my slogan. We put towns on it, and $5 from every shirt went to the ARC of ARC Mid-Hudson. So that's how we kicked it off with a fundraiser. And we will do fundraisers, down the road as well, for whoever wants. But for right now, this is our business. We're very excited about it, and who knows where it'll take us.
It's just a great idea because, again, it appeals to everybody in every state. And for a long time, it was not cool to be from upstate, but now upstate is really cool.
Hot.
Yeah, now it's hot. Upstate is hot.
Well, upstate is, and I used to, and I want to give a plug. I for the last year or two, I'd say Hamilton's and Adams is a little shop in uptown Kingston. And,
I talked about them today.
I love those guys. Andrew's amazing. He has a slogan that he does upstate and chill.
Correct.
And I would go in and talk to him, and I would say, we're the upstate original. We're upstate original. I have been using that term. My cousins, from the city and from Jersey and from Staten Island and Brooklyn, every time they come up, they would say, we're coming upstate, we're coming upstate, we're coming upstate. And some of them, would move up this way or have moved up this way, and we'd call them the transplants. We were the upstate originals, and they were the transplants.
Yeah.
And, It just seemed normal, and because we want some normalcy today, it just seemed like a no-brainer, to use that term that we've been using since the 70s, really, upstate original, and it's taken off, and this message should be not just in upstate New York, it should be in every state, and it should be all over the world, because we really do have to come together. We live in the best country in the world, I feel, and we need to come together for sure.
Most definitely. I agree with you. Maybe if people are just catching us on their way into work or whatever, just turning the radio on, we are on the radio now with Nadine Ferrero. She's talking about her company, Upstate Original. And maybe you could just read that mission statement one more time, Nadine, because I think that it really hits home and it's well worded.
Yeah, and Christine, I've probably been working on that statement, as short as it is, for over a year, because, we do a lot for the community. You guys all, we do the same. We love where we live. We're so passionate about our community, yes, Kingston, but Ulster County and really, New York State. So the message is, whether you were born and raised here, or whether you landed here and decided to plant some roots here, from somewhere else. If you live by this message, you are Upstate Original. So it says, for all we do, for you, for me, for humanity and unity, we are a vibe and we are a unique tribe. We are sisters, we are brothers, we are committed to doing what's right for each other and for our community. We love where we come from and where we have landed. We are Upstate Original. And everybody that makes a purchase, we've made stickers with our logo, but with that message on it. And, everybody who's making purchases, it's overwhelming to us. Even yesterday on Thanksgiving, they're taking pictures with themselves, with the shirts on or the sweatshirts or the hats, and they're sending them to us, and we're posting them or they're posting them online. And it really is a movement. And, every time somebody does that, we share it and we add the message to it, because we're so happy that it has taken off. And obviously, since our business shut down, we're very happy. But it is about the message. It is really about the message. I've given a lot of shirts away. I've given a lot of these stickers away. I will continue to do that, because it's really about this message for us. And I just feel that if you have a platform and you have a following, and people are listening to you, and they're able to hear what you're saying, and you get to say it over and over and over. I've watched negative propaganda and statements like that, be spread, right? Why can't we use our stage and our voices and our presence for something good? And this is something good. And I probably will post something every single day, because for every single time you post, somebody sees it on social media, or they'll share it, or whatever.
Sure.
And it will get bigger and it will grow, and that's what's happening. So people should use their voices, and they should use their positions, whether it's in their community or their job or whatever it is, for something good, because that's what the movement should be for everybody.
No, it's a great idea, and so we should look for it. You talked about the pop-ups, Nadine. Can you talk a little bit about the pop-ups and where you're going to be, what it means?
Sure. So when we do they're pop-up shops. We do vendor fairs. We've done vendor fairs. Right now is very difficult for people to gather. I'm not promoting it. I don't think that we should do it. So what we started doing was we started this. Our first time we did it was October 17th. We did it outside. We did it on Broadway, in the parking lot there. Radio Kingston allowed us to do it, and Broadway Arts, and we got the juice. The lot by their business. We did a vendor fair, and it was socially distanced. Masks. Vendors, that are, artists or crafts people or whatever it is, were able to set up their items and sell them outside. And, that happens a lot, indoors and everywhere, but it really can't happen this year. So we did a couple of outside events. I did one indoor event last week, which was amazing, Kingston Athletics in the mall. Yeah, it was really a good one. She worked, Christina Criswano.
Yes.
Worked
And
very hard on it. But we're going to start doing pop-ups. We're going to be outside. It may be a little chilly for us, but that's okay. We're going to be next Friday. We have a limited order right now, what we have left. So we're in our inventory. We're going to go live this weekend and tell people what they have. They can buy what we have if they message, within the live. We'll deliver to them anywhere in Ulster County locally. If they don't want to pick up, or they can curbside pick up, we'll work that out, the details with them. But we will be next Friday is our next pop-up. We're going to be at 75 Lucas Avenue at Pestmaster Services. They have a beautiful front porch. They're letting us set up. We'll have tables, and we have racks, and we have a great display, and we'll have all of our inventory with us.
Nadine, where on Lucas Avenue where is 75 Lucas Avenue?
75 Lucas Avenue is just, if you're coming, say from Washington Avenue, you'll go up a block to the stop sign, and we're 2 houses in. On the right, if you're coming out of Joy's Lane, you'll make that
I know
right
where you are now.
Lucas. We're literally right there across from Emerson.
Yep, I know where you are. Yep.
Okay, so we're very close. You'll see us on the porch. We'll have a nice display, and we're going to be there from about 11 o'clock in the morning, until probably around 5 o'clock. It'll give everybody some time to do that. I want to give a shout out to Corey Haywood, DJ Booyah. He is doing my website for me.
Oh, great.
And I believe it's going to be launched today. So people are going to be able to be on, to order on the website. It's taken off so much. And everybody knows how crazy busy, everyone is. But, we have grandchildren we watch sometimes. We're working, we're doing this. And this is becoming a full-time thing. So it's taken us a little bit longer, and the holidays and the pandemic. So we are pulling it all together, and we're very, very excited about it. For how fast it took off. We're excited.
If you just joined us, folks, we're talking to Nadine Ferraro about Upstate Original.
I like that, right?
Upstate Original.
Yeah.
And I think all of us are Upstate Originals, no matter what state you're in. But this next Friday, a week from today, they're going to be at 75 Lucas Avenue at Pestmasters from about 11 to 5, Nadine.
Yes, from about 11 to 5. And, it's very important to us, that we used everything local.
Correct.
We use local printers. I'm using, Color Page has done my signage and my stickers. My salesman for my stuff. Fritz Genther, I want to thank him. John Stote, I want to give a shout out to John Stote, who is, everybody knows John Stote was the owner of Anaconda K.
Yep.
He also, came up with the Rock Basketball. So he gave me some really great advice as far as trademarking and that kind of thing. I just can't, and these local businesses that are calling us, to set up, at their businesses. Paul Alley and Amy Alley are my bosses at Pestmaster. They want us, we're going to be on their porch.
Yeah.
Like I said, LaShag, Dave Amato from Old Savannah.
Yeah.
All these different businesses, we are so appreciative of them reaching out to us and supporting us, but we are adamant and committed to using local businesses as far as our business is concerned.
Nadine, just in terms about great gift ideas for the holidays coming up, you mentioned, what are the products again that people can pick up?
So we have knit ski hats, which I cannot keep in.
Oh, wow, okay.
I can't keep them in. I'm every time I get an order in, they're gone in hours. So we have knit ski caps, we have beanies coming in, and joggers and sweatpants. They'll be in for our pop-up next Friday. We have T-shirts, long sleeve and short sleeve. We have sweatshirts, crew necks, and hoodies. And that's going to be it for right now. That's a very comfortable, relaxing line, and that's the vibe that we want to give to people. We want you to help your community. We want you to work hard towards your community, but we want you to relax and be part of that comfortable vibe, get that vibe going. And this is the line for now. In the spring, we are working on an entirely new line because we also want to showcase our, I used the word transplant before because that's what my cousins, we used to call each other, transplants and upstate originals. But we're going to do a line focused on people that have landed here and decided to stay and plant roots. There'll be a specific line, that embodies that, the upstate original vibe, but will be more inclusive because this is inclusive. This is not, and it may have started, with us talking about being born and raised here because I like that conversation going. And Christine knows I always felt that there was a disconnect somewhere between the people that were born and raised here and people that were coming here and moving here. And it was like them and us, you know what I mean? Like people that were born and raised here and people that moved here. And I didn't like where that was really going because we were all here for the same reason. And I so appreciate everyone moving here and coming and adding to our economy and our community. And, and I think that we just need to talk to each other more and let them know our real history and some of the old stories about old Kingston.
Okay. Hey, Nadine, I'm going to have to interrupt you. We have 2 minutes. I just want to make sure that all of our listeners know it's next Friday, 75 Lucas Avenue, Pestmaster on the front porch. And
11 to 5. The front porch, 75 Lucas Avenue. People can always message me on Facebook, Nadine Fesco Ferraro, or call me at 845-594-1833.
Upstate Original. They have T-shirts, Upstate Original T-shirts, ski hats, beanies, joggers, T-shirts, sweatshirts. Great gift ideas.
Everything. Baseball hats will be in next week, too.
Okay. So, again, Upstate Original. Nadine, truly Upstate Original, or original person. Nadines are always welcome here with Christine and Ken, and thank you very much.
Thanks, Nadine.
I love you guys. Thank you so much. And this is a great, I'm so excited to be on here to kick off the holidays today. I'm officially decorating for Christmas today.
There you go.
Okay, Nadine, thank you thank you for all you've done for our community, and I continue to do. You are an Upstate Original. It is Christine and Ken. We hope you enjoyed this edition here on Kingston Community Radio, and we're off next month because it is Christmas.
Yeah.
And so we'll see you
in
next
2021.
Yeah, next year. We'll see you next year here, Christine and Ken live. Thank you, Lawrence.
Thank you for sharing the morning with us and participating in Kingston Community Radio.